Testing. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Good morning, everyone. Let me just check if I'm good on all the platforms here, and then we'll get this thing started. So we do Monday through Friday right here. Go live every Monday through Friday. And let me just make sure we're good on LinkedIn. We go live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So let me just make sure we're good. LinkedIn, what's up? LinkedIn, we're good. Right Facebook, let me just hold up. Go live. Should probably share it, right? Friday. And let me just make sure we're good on LinkedIn. We go live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So LinkedIn, we're good. Let me just make sure. Facebook, what's up? Facebook, what's up? LinkedIn, we go live on LinkedIn. Facebook, we're good. And let me just check YouTube real quick. I'm just reading this message. All right. Let me go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me check YouTube real quick, and then we'll get things going. Test 1 2 test 1. All right, YouTube, we're good. YouTube, we're good. All right, let's get it. Here we go. Let me remove this real quick. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good, beautiful, great morning. The best morning you're going to have because it is this morning. Let me just introduce myself to anybody that may be new to my world. My name is Aswan Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon to be 6-time. We're going to talk about that today. Soon to be 6-time published author and educator, and what I do, what I create, and what this plus LY really means, what it really means to move swiftly. Is to take the lessons that you learn on the football field, the teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field, and align them with business owners, align them to businesses so they have staff, they have a group of employees, they have people that are moving as efficiently as a championship high school or youth football team. We are going to dive into a brand new series today, seeing that we are on the last Monday. We're in the last Monday in the month of February. I've decided to really get focused on something that was told to me like months ago, by a mentor of mine. A shout out to Dre Baldwin, business mentor of mine, who I've met personally. I've had tons of conversations with, and he's adamant. In fact, before I started recording this, I looked on his stories, and he has said exactly the same thing. I mean, you think I'm consistent, man? Listen, get a whiff of what that guy's doing, and you'll see consistency. You'll see where I learned the importance of consistency, especially if we're talking about online content creation, brand building, business, establishing your business and just establishing your reputation online. I went on his story just because, I go on here and there. I still listen to his podcast a lot. But he has said the same thing every single month for years now, which is, make sure you're writing down or setting up your monthly goals going into whatever the new month is, and making sure there's somewhere in which you can write them down. And, I've heard him say that on multiple occasions. And, it's been, I'm not gonna lie to you at all. It's been a challenge for me seeing that again. It's hard when you haven't figured out that target, that audience, like the way I was able to present myself earlier in today's intro, something I've been practicing, something that took me a really long time to develop. But now that I have my target, I have the goals, I have a lot of the things set, a platform that's set, it's a whole lot more manageable to set these monthly goals. So I'm going to dive into today. I'm gonna start up a brand new series, which is gonna be the last Monday of every month. So we're on February 24th, 2025, and looking at the calendar now. As of Monday, March 31st, 2025, I will revisit this very live stream, this very conversation that we're going to have today, and see how I did in terms of setting my monthly goals. Also, I'm merging this. This is sort of a merge in systems, a merge in process here, to where every single Monday I pose a Make a Move Monday kickoff question. All right. So we're merging the kickoff question with setting my monthly goals. And I'm posing the question to you all now. What are your monthly goals? What are the things that you plan on getting done this month and how important they are? So as we move forward with that, let me just get through some announcements, and then I'm going to play you the article in which I talk about these things in detail. And then I'll go into further detail into what setting goals is all about, how to set them, how to set attainable goals, and how to make sure you're staying focused and staying close to your target as you move forward. All right. So first things first, let's get through some announcements. First and foremost, boxing lessons, free boxing lessons. If you are interested in getting free boxing lessons, just hit that QR code. All right, you see right there on the screen. I do them every single 2 weeks, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. And again, if you're interested, just hit the QR code and we'll go from there. I'll send you the details. Also, business owners, as I said in the intro, I'm here to serve you, here to help you. My business, my brand, everything I do, my services are in a way aligned to make it so you are building a cohesive team. You are making sure that every person on your staff, every single employee is walking into their building, walking into your place of business, really feeling like they're the owner, understanding what their role is, and knowing how they can consistently get better. Get better. All right. So go to freeguide.makeitmove.com, and I put together 10 ways in which you can use right now to make it so your business is running a whole lot more efficiently. And Patreon, tap into the Patreon link. Make sure you tap into the patreon.com/as144, which we'll be discussing a little bit later, because that's part of actually my monthly goals in terms of what it is I'm going to be doing with the Patreon link and focusing on high ticket and things of that nature. So to get things started off, I'm going to play. I don't normally do this, but I want to do it today since we're starting up a new series. And I'm going to play you the article that literally just got published, about 3 hours ago. I wrote it yesterday, but it just got published 3 hours ago. I'm going to let that play for you. And then I'll get into the details of what setting monthly goals is all about. So let me let that play real quick and we'll go.
Embracing constant improvement, my 3 Ps and monthly goals for March 2025. With exactly 1 week left in February 2025, I find myself in a moment of reflection, both a pause and a promise, as I prepare to step into a new month. I've come to see my journey through the lens of 3 critical dimensions: professionally, personally, and physically, what I call my 3 Ps. In each of these areas, I strive for constant improvement, knowing that complacency is the enemy of growth. Even when things are going well, staying vigilant prevents us from letting our guard down. And when challenges arise, resilience keeps discouragement at bay. The value of monthly goals. Over the years, I've had countless insightful conversations with my business mentor, Dre Baldwin. His wisdom, shared during my time in his coaching program, has been a guiding light in my professional evolution. One piece of advice that truly resonated with me was the importance of setting and writing down monthly goals. Not only does this practice keep me accountable, but it also allows me to measure progress, learn from setbacks, and celebrate wins, however small they may seem. Today, on what I'm calling #MakeItMove Monday, I'm kicking off a new tradition, publicly sharing my monthly goals. This transparent commitment helps ensure that my objectives are both attainable and actionable, and it gives me the opportunity to reflect 1 month from now on where I excelled and where there's room for improvement. Goal 1. Write the intro in chapters 1, 2, and 3 of How to Be a Wintrapreneur. For years now, I've proudly declared myself a 5-time, soon-to-be 6-time published author. Book number 6 will dive into a concept I've passionately developed and refined: Wintrapreneur. Every Wednesday for nearly a year, I've been defining what it means to be a Wintrapreneur, sharing examples, insights, and practical advice for business owners managing teams of 20 or more employees. Now it's time to put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard and create the written intellectual property that will serve my ideal audience and further establish my presence as a thought leader. Goal 2. Host or secure an event to host. Being a published author comes with its realities, without a platform or an agreement with a major institution for bulk orders. The success of a book hinges on the author's ability to connect with an audience through live events. Recognizing this, I've transitioned my podcast format to daily live streams, embracing the need for visibility and engagement. This month, I'm setting my sights on either hosting or securing an event, an opportunity to speak directly, share my story, and extend my reach to potential readers and clients. Live interactions are the lifeblood of building a lasting brand, and I'm ready to make my mark. Goal 3. Attract members to my Patreon. Inspired by yet another key piece of advice from Dre Baldwin, put all your energy and focus on selling high ticket. I'm channeling my efforts towards attracting committed members on Patreon. This platform, which I discovered through virtual mentor Anton Daniels, offers a unique opportunity to connect with individuals who value high-quality content and are ready to invest in it. With the insights gained from my first 2 goals, I'm confident that I can create compelling value propositions that resonate with potential members. It's all about reaching those who are willing to invest in transformative services, and I'm eager to see where this path leads. Looking ahead. These 3 goals aren't easy by any means, but they are deliberately chosen. They're challenging yet absolutely doable. They represent the steps I need to take to push myself into a better, more impactful version of who I am. As I set these goals publicly, I'm also setting the stage for honest self-reflection. Next month, I'll look back at these commitments to understand what worked, what didn't, and why. Here's to a month of bold moves, continual growth, and relentless improvement. I invite you to join me on this journey and share your own steps toward excellence. Let's make March 2025 a month where we truly #make a move. Aswand Cruikshank.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how they say my name on that. But yes, so that was the article that just got published today. A couple of things that we're going to peel back from that article. First and foremost, and I want you guys to hear me very clearly when I say this, you have got to pay for coaching. All right, you got to take money. You got to put it in your budget, some way, shape, form, or fashion. You got to put it in your budget. Pay someone that you admire, pay someone that you see doing some of the work that you're doing. The way I actually got connected with Dre Baldwin was during a time during COVID. A lot of us were on something called Clubhouse. My podcast had just got started. My first book had just come out. I really didn't know what I was in the thought leadership world. And, I heard him, speaking in a very confident tone in a Clubhouse room with actually someone who was just a guest on my show. Her name is Misty Buck, and who actually has a book titled The Athlete Handbook, a great friend of mine too. But she was doing a Clubhouse room with Dre, and I saw what he was all about. We both live in South Florida. I didn't even, as much promotion and as much as he does from a marketing standpoint, I'm living in South Florida. I didn't know who he was had it not been for COVID, and had it not been for Clubhouse, had it not been for a connection that I had with Misty Buck. And I just jumped in that Clubhouse room, and it's absolutely been a blessing towards what it is I'm doing, a blessing to my life when it comes to business, and just being someone that really holds me accountable, makes me want to work harder, because he's not the kind of guy that's just going to tell you you're doing a good job. See, that was the issue I was having. I still actually deal with that issue to this day. Is I'm one of the only author around the people that I'm around. I'm the only thought leader. I'm the only one that's putting out material on a regular basis, to where when most people see you, you kind of outgrown. The term is kind of, you outgrown your teachers, or the teacher becomes the student, or the student becomes the teacher, or some one of those sayings. But at the end of the day, a lot of the people that I was around on a regular basis, they were impressed with the work I was doing. They stopped being able to give me advice to go to the next level. And that's where you need folks who have been doing this work for longer than you, and they can give you solid advice. So whoever that is in your industry, I strongly recommend you go and you pay for their coaching program, whatever it costs. Figure out what type of program they have, or how you can get involved with newsletters they have, whatever it is they're doing. The same thing. And I mentioned Anton Daniels in the article as well. Anton Daniels has been another blessing, a person that I've never actually even had a conversation with. Just continuously listen to his listen to his YouTube videos. In fact, this week I plan on I could have actually put that as one of the monthly goals, but this week I plan on joining his Patreon community because it was him. It was the work he was doing and the things he was saying during the election cycle, just the honest dialogue as a black man that was just being 100% honest about his feelings about Kamala Harris and didn't make other black men who just wasn't feeling Kamala. Again, just wasn't feeling Kamala Harris. He didn't make other black men kind of put us on a guilt trip because, the fact that we weren't feeling her, obviously there was some merit to it, right? So him, folk like Brandon Tatum, Dave Reed Dawkins, Candace Owens, those kinds of folks, I truly, truly admire because it helps me continue to develop and put out content in a consistent manner, regardless of the views, regardless of how many likes and all that kind of stuff. It's a matter of putting out stuff that's from your heart, putting out stuff that you truly, truly, truly believe in. So pay for coaching. All right, pay for coaching. Next thing I want to reference in what I put in the article is my 3 Ps. All right. When you're talking about self-development, all right, when you're in a world of self-development, which everyone is actually in the world of self-development, if you really consider it, you have got to have a foundation in place. You got to have something set in place in which you're launching your self-development world from. You got to have a framework, folks. You got to have a framework. I don't know what the framework is. That's going to be up to you and whoever it is you're looking to work with, but the framework in which you develop, kind of like your pillars, that's going to be the key towards if you can actually develop. Have you built a foundation? Have you built that house on a rock? Or is it just you going out trying to be someone without having a solid foundation? All right. So the 3 Ps, I mentioned the 3 Ps, the way I look at it. I look at it as I check in on myself, as I check in on the work I'm doing, as I check into where I'm at, I'm looking at it from the lens of, am I developing professionally? Am I developing personally? And am I developing physically? Am I getting my body right? Personally, am I getting around more? Do I have better friends that are actually doing something constructive with their life? And from a professional standpoint, do I have more books or do I have more podcasts? Is my content going deeper? Am I doing better things? Now, I came up with the 3 Ps because of something that my mother was teaching not just my niece, like she was teaching my niece, her granddaughter, but she was also teaching me at the same time, because I always like, one of the things I always talk about is the fact that my niece was born when I was still in college. All right. And we were both kind of in this place where we're finding our way, right? Obviously, me as a 20-year-old adult versus her as a newborn, I grew up so close to my sister, her mother, that it was just a new time. And this was actually during this time, it was this guy, this young little college football player went behind the ears, not knowing a whole lot. This was around the time that my niece was born. So, man, yeah. Go get this book, by the way, Transferring D1. It's my latest book. But it was around that time where I was developing my own philosophy, my own ideas, my own things, my own dreams, my own goals, my own aspirations. As I was seeing, this was the first time I actually had a baby in my life, and my sister, so happy at that particular time, seeing my niece kind of grow up. My mother would. As my niece was getting to the point where she's actually comprehending stuff, she's actually comprehending words and stuff. Like, it's funny saying that now, because now she's 15 years old and she's a typical teenager at this point. But there was a time when she was able to actually learn how to eat and learn how to actually say anka, just all that stuff. So when she was during that time when she was actually just comprehending stuff, my mother would preach to her something called the 3 Bs, which was your brains, your body, and your bank account. And me, as I was tuning into those lessons, as I was tuning into those things, I took it and I, was able to develop what I call the 3 Ps, which is, am I developing professionally, physically, and professionally? And I use that as I evaluate the kind of people I want in my life. There's been several women that I've dated who I measure them by that same criteria. It's like, do I connect with this woman personally? Do I connect with this woman physically? And do I connect with this woman professionally? If they don't have all 3 of the Ps, it's a hell no. All right. This is what I've learned as I've grown and grown and grown. And I'm telling you right now, Bill Belichick has changed all the rules for me. He's changed all the rules. If a 70-year-old man could be getting with a 26-year-old woman, I'm telling you right now, he is shining a light on the three P's. I swear. Okay. The three P's have just gone to another level because Bill Belichick has changed all the rules. The rules. In fact, before I get into my monthly goals, I'm gonna let this one play. I gotta let this one play because I didn't expect to go here, but I'm gonna get to the three goals in a second. But I have got to let the article I did, and this is the last time I'm giving you guys these articles for free, by the way. But this is gonna be. I'm gonna play you this. I'm gonna play you this, and I'm gonna get back to the monthly goals. All right. But this dude changed all the rules. Belichick changed all the rules for me. I put it out February 9th when he made that appearance. Let me let this play, and then we'll get back into the monthly goals. Go.
Bill Belichick, his 20-something girlfriend, and the reality of options. A man torn in three directions. Bill Belichick showing up to the NFL honors with his mid-20s girlfriend sent shockwaves through the football world and beyond. But for me, it wasn't just a headline. It was an internal battle. I found myself caught between three different perspectives, each pulling me in a different direction. 1, the football guy in me. The first reaction. Way to go, coach. There's something about an older legend still being able to attract a young, beautiful woman that feels like a flex. Whether we admit it or not, there's a cultural narrative that sees this as a win for men of a certain stature. It's the classic tale of power and status attracting youth and beauty. From an outsider's perspective, it almost seems impressive. But then reality set in. 2, the uncle, mentor, and aspiring father in me. As someone who mentors young women, elementary school students even, I couldn't help but see the other side of this situation. This young woman, no matter her intentions or intelligence, is now locked into a narrative she'll never escape. She'll be judged relentlessly. She could be an accomplished woman in her own right, but the world will only see her as the girl who dated an old, rich guy. She'll hear words like gold digger, opportunist, and social climber. Her accomplishments will be second-guessed. Her ambitions will be overshadowed. And that's a tough reality to live with.
Yeah.
No matter how this relationship plays out, it comes at a cost. 3, the man who's been there before. Then there's the personal side. Not too long ago, I lost a potential relationship to an older man, her boss of all people. That one stung in a way I wasn't prepared for. It took a bottle of Bacardi just to numb the initial shock of it. But time has a way of revealing the truth. Since then, I've built something for myself. I'm a 5-time published author, host of the first podcast on innovative teamwork, and even a verified public figure. Google me. Meanwhile, the woman I once pursued. She attempted to start a podcast that barely made it past 17 episodes, got pregnant, and, to my knowledge, never followed through on the ambitions that once made her attractive in the first place. Life has a way of evening things out. The simple truth men need to understand. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. You'll always lose money chasing women, but you will not lose women chasing money. That's the game. That's the rule. When evaluating a potential partner, ask yourself 2 critical questions. How do I chase money? Does she help me chase it? If the answer to is no, then what's the point? Watch the full video here. I break this down further in my latest video. Watch here. Click to watch. And if you found this valuable, subscribe for more insights like this. The conversation.
Yeah, man. That was this. See, this is another thing that's important too. Why it's important to write everything down and put it all out there so you can go back to it. I didn't plan on going back to that day, but yes, as you can see, whenever I break down situations, again, personal, relational, how I connect with people, it's all broken down into that one lens. Professionally, this time I had ambitions of becoming the next coach, Bill Belichick. I wanted to coach in the NFL. I wanted to have his success. Personally, again, myself as an uncle, myself as someone that would really be moved, or would really bother me knowing that my niece is dating someone that's that old. If she gets to that age and she's only 10 years away from her mid-20s and all that, I would definitely be bothered by that. But then you have the personal side of me that have actually been burnt by that. So there's all sorts of things that can come up. And if you don't have a moral compass, if you don't have a foundation, you're just not going to be able to, manage all of the curveballs and all of the crazy things that life throws at you. And they will be absolutely incredibly crazy things that life throws at you. So let's get into what my goals are. And I'm putting this out here publicly, just like I wrote about it publicly. I'm going to say it publicly for you guys to understand. And not only just for you, but also for me to come back a month from now and see if I stayed on point, if I stayed on target, if I stayed focused on these 3 goals. And the thing about having goals is they have to be attainable. They have to be something which you achieve that thing, it gets you to your higher purpose, your higher your North Star. Excuse me. You have to be willing, or you have to have a North Star in which you're constantly chasing the bigger picture. For me, the bigger picture is to build my own school, the Move Swiftly School of Sports Management. So every single day, every single month has to be, every single goal I set has to be in alignment with building that. You have got to know your end game. All right. So goal number 1, let's go back to the article here. Goal number 1, which was to write. Here it is. Write the intro and chapters 1, 2, and 3 of How to Be a Wintrepreneur. All right, here we go. How to be a wintrepreneur, where this came from, and what I learned when it comes to writing books and how the whole thing works. All right, is when you are a published author, when you are and you're not famous, all right, you don't have fame, you don't go and you're not Miss Michelle Obama, and you don't have the name that just resonates and people are just gonna buy your book because of the name. You have got to make sure you're doing it in a way in which you're attracting a specific person, a person that has the psychographics that you want. So here's my advice. Don't write the book. Don't put out any books, or don't spend too much resources, spend too much time and money writing a book unless you know exactly who it is would buy it, exactly who it is you want reading it, exactly who it is. Like this one was written a year ago because the transfer portal and NIL was taking over college athletics, and I was noticing it, and I was doing myself. I was actually doing NIL deals and said, okay, that specific college athlete, that specific parent that's trying to navigate their way through college athletics, that's where this came from. There is a specific person in mind that I had in mind when I wrote that. That, and only then do you write a book, okay? Because without the fame, which again, you're not that famous, and speaking to 99% of the world out there, without the high levels of fame, like the name of a LeBron James or a Barack Obama, okay? Your book isn't just gonna sell off fame. Your book is only gonna sell because you have given thought towards specifically who you wanna serve. So when it comes to book number 6 and why I'm putting it out there, How to Be a Wintrepreneur, again, it came from a conversation that I was having with Dre when I was trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to serve business owners. I knew I wanted to serve business owners. I knew I wanted to go and host workshops for business owners and teach their employees about the Move Swiftly system that I created, the teamwork system that I created, and helping them essentially, build out their organizations and build out their staff and find the right people. I knew that's what I wanted to do, but in terms of my delivery and what I was going to tell them when I got them on the phone or when I reached out to them, or how I was going to package up my delivery towards them, I needed some assistance in terms of how I was going to do that. So he and I were chatting on a coaching call, and I was telling him, his question to me was, okay, what are you going to help a business owner do? How are you going to help their employees? I told them that I'm going to help them. I think I said something about I was going to help business owners teach their employees how to have the entrepreneur mindset. And then he goes, he pushed back on me. And he said, I don't think you wanted to do that, because if I'm a business owner, I don't want my employees having an entrepreneur mindset, because that means they're going to leave my company. And then he made the suggestion to say, no, instead of teaching them that, tell them that you're going to teach them how to have the entrepreneur mindset. And, entrepreneur means that you're an entrepreneur-minded person, but you're doing it within the organization. When you say the entrepreneur mindset, now a business owner trusts you and they can help, they'll try to facilitate some sort of workshop or some sort of deal in which they can get you in front of these employees, their employees, so their staff is moving like an entrepreneur. And of course, as one Cruikshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, Mr. Creativity over here, Mr. Innovative Teamwork. I got to put my own spin to stuff. I can't just say entrepreneur. I have to say wintrepreneur because, I got to make sure my stuff is sounding a whole new way. I got to make sure it's something different. I got to make sure it's like I'm from a different planet type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that's me. That's how I get down. I could never just, take something and just be, all right, no, I got to put my own little juice to it, put a little flavor on that, put a little Aswan Cruikshank flavor on that. So I started coming up with a concept called Wintrepreneur. And since the summer, so we had that conversation this past summer. And since that summer, every single Wednesday, I've come up with something called a Wintrepreneur tip. You can go check the receipts. It's right here. I'll show you. It's right here. Come up with something called a Wintrepreneur tip. And this has happened every single Wednesday in some way, shape, form, or fashion. It's been how to be a wintrepreneur, how to be a wintrepreneur, how to be a wintrepreneur, to the point where now that the term has been coined, you look it up, it's not really there. No one's really using it like that. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. That's me. And that's just another way of getting in front of more of the business owners that I want to serve. So all that being said, as I've continued to, put out features and, talk about what the concept is, now it comes time to put my money where my mouth is and put a book out about that particular thing, because I know just the hearing it. If I'm a business owner of 20 or more employees and I'm constantly dealing with turnover, I'm constantly having to replace this position, that position, and I don't know where to turn. I hear the term wintrepreneur and I'm like, okay, let me hear more about this. Let me see what it's all about. That's when you put out a book. All right. That's when you put out a book and you have the mental capacity to say, all right, that is the thing that can just continue to serve the people I want to serve more. So seeing that right now, there's nobody using that term. Okay. That's what book number 6 is all about. All right. I just gave you a whole lesson on how to put out a book, on how you should be thinking about putting out a book. So that's goal number 1. That's goal number 1 from March. Goal number 2 is a complement to that. And that's another point that I want to make sure I'm on the record stating here, is when you're setting these goals, every single one has to complement each other. Every single goal has to be in sort of conjunction, has to have a parallel towards the next. It has to feed off each other. All right. As I just explained to you, when you're in the thought leadership world, when you put a book out, when you write as much as I write, and you put articles out, and you have your stuff packaged, you have your stuff ready, and you're ready to roll, people are not going to buy your shit until they hear you speak. So I got to put it as bluntly as that. And I know I'm down to try to keep myself under 10 curse words or 10 swear words a week here. I'm using up one of them right now. People ain't going to buy your shit. We're talking about books, intellectual property. They're not going to buy your shit unless they hear you speak, period. All right. I will tell you from experience, folks. I will tell you from experience. Nobody's buying your book until they hear you speak, until you are consistently speaking, until you've actually speak life into them. I'm talking about speaking into them, talking. You got to get over that public speaking fear. You got to put all your stuff out there and ready to go. That is the only way. Again, unless you're Michelle Obama, and I'm sure the majority of people listening to me right now are not Michelle Obama. They're not Barack Obama. They're not LeBron James. They don't have these household names to where they don't even have to write the damn book. They just, pay somebody to write the book and then it sells because of their name. You actually have to be good at what you do. You have to actually believe in the things that are actually written in the pages that you put out there. If you are not publicly speaking regularly, if there's no place in which people can go and hear you talk on a regular, consistent basis, or if you're not in a situation where you are consistently talking to them, or people are hearing you speak, your ideal people are hearing you speak, your book will not sell. It will just collect dust on Amazon somewhere, collect dust or wherever you bought them. And if you went with the traditional publisher, now you owe the publishing company a couple hundred. I mean, you could get yourself in a real situation if you don't strategically put the book out. All right. Example, the first book I ever put out, it's titled Swiftly, Your Guide to Innovative Teamwork, and it built the company, and it's kind of just that framework in which I built the business on and all that kind of stuff. However, what people got to understand about that first book is that I spent 3 years. 3 years as a trainer at 9 Round before that book came out. I'm talking about every single morning. I was the trainer there that was, preaching to them and, motivating them and helping them through workout, teaching them, jab, cross, uppercut, helping them through all sorts of things, going through divorces, new members, so many things were going on at that 9 Round plantation that's no longer a business. I was there every single morning, just, giving them some extra boost, giving them some extra motivation. And that's why the book sold the way it did. Like, I bought a whole box of Swiftlies and they flew off the shelves. People were buying them left and right, not because they actually wanted to read them. No, they were buying them because they heard me speak. All right. So all the reason I'm bringing all that up is because goal number 2 for the month is to host or secure an event to host. This is something that as an author, I have to continue. And I'm telling you this just as an example for you to think about how you're going to set your goals. As an author, I have to hold myself accountable to continuously reach out to see what events are available to host. All right. Ideally, an event that I would obviously be very, very sought after to host would be football camps. At this time, we're going into March now, and you got a lot of spring football opening up. You got a lot of spring camps opening up. Again, football is year round. Football is year round, folks. There's some time. You got March Madness. You're going to get some NBA playoffs here and there. You'll hear me talk about some basketball stuff quite a bit over the next couple months here, the next couple weeks. But at the end of the day, football is year round. Football runs things. Football is the sport over here that we talk about the most. And as I have experienced, as someone that has actually hosted camps, as someone that has actually has come up as a scout, played the game, and knows what the game can provide, especially if we're talking about summer camps out here in Florida, people coming out here looking to get recruited, businesses looking to connect with other football organizations. I'm in all of that. Again, that's what this one was all about. The Six-Figure Athlete. It was about, teaching how not only this one, but also this one, book number 2. I have a whole chapter. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up here for you. Yes, this is it. Yeah, I have a whole chapter. Save Your Money, which is talking all about how camps, what football camps to go to, what not football camps, all that kind of stuff. So as far as my monthly goal is to, secure, either host some event in which, they're promoting some camps and we're doing some things from a camp's perspective, or, secure one of these football camps that are going to probably be announced sometime in March, secure a hosting position to where I'm actually the one that's hosting it because of the books I'm going to be putting out, the books I already have out. It's just everything moves in alignment. Again, when you're talking about setting goals, each one has to complement the other. So you have chapters 1, 2, and 3 written. You can start putting up for pre-sale. And then the next goal is to simply, I don't want to use the word simply, but the next goal would be to now host an event that is involving, that is attracting the ideal reader so they continuously hear me speak. That's how goals need to be set. They shouldn't be in a situation where you feel like you're veering off from the work that you're all about. All right. That's another important distinction that I'll dive into in a later date, which is the difference between the work that you've been put on this earth to do versus the job that you have that's just paying the bills and stuff like that. And you should be noticing, you should be understanding what your work is, and then going about figuring out what's the job you're going to have that's going to help you pay the bills and things of that nature. So that's goal number 2, host or secure some sort of a speaking event, preferably some sort of a football camp, some sort of a basketball, a sports camp this summer, because at this stage, March is usually when they get announced. And as they're getting announced, this is where contact information is made public. You can reach out to whoever you need to reach out to, call whoever you need to call. Again, most people are not excited about going and hosting camps because most people aren't big public speakers and stuff like that. And that's another thing too. When you find yourself, in a place where not a lot of people are doing the thing that you want to do, that's exactly where you need to be. That's exactly where you need to be. Me, I'm blessed enough. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate enough. I won't say lucky, but fortunate enough to be an aspiring public speaker, and knowing that 95% of the world is afraid of publicly speaking and will do anything they can to not have that role. That means that you're moving in the right direction. Whatever the majority of folks out there are doing with themselves, you want to find yourself doing the opposite thing. That's when you're able to have attainable goals. All right. These are attainable things that you need to be getting done day in and day out. All right. So finally, number three. And this is number 3. All right. This is really where I want to tap into. So attract more members to my Patreon link, my Patreon group. So this goes back to what I talked about earlier in terms of finding virtual mentors, drafting virtual mentors. And one of my boy Todd, shout out to Todd. He actually has shout out to him. He's congrats on becoming a girl dad and all that. But he has a video out there. I'm pretty sure it's still out there somewhere. You could look up Taj Deshawn and just look up drafting virtual mentors. As a matter of fact, let me look it up right now. I wonder if it's still here. Deshawn drafting Jewel tours. Let me see what actually shows up. Give me a second here. Yeah. Drafting virtual mentors. All right. So I know I've heard him talk about it quite a bit, but I don't think I don't see the video right now, but I'll briefly explain. So we live in an online world. The world is virtual now, right? And the opportunity for you to find and have virtual mentors, that's on you. All right. But there's enough material out there to where you have no excuses, absolutely no excuses towards not having people that you look up to online, that you tune into what they're all about, that are consistently putting their stuff out there, that are there to help you. They have been doing their set and they're doing this, and they're out there just putting out material in order to help folks and put out positive material. For me, one of those individuals is an Anton Daniels, who, like I said, I plan on joining his Patreon community at some point throughout the next couple of weeks. He has, and just saying that is what made me look onto what Patreon is all about, because I had no idea what patreon.com actually was until he mentioned it. In all of his videos, it's, tap in with me on the Patreon link, figure out the Patreon link. And as I'm listening to it, I'm like, what the hell is Patreon? What the hell is a Patreon link? So as I saw what he was all about, as I took, the Patreon link and seeing what it's all about, which is actually a membership-based platform in which you can invite people in, invite your tribe in to, the people that are serious about moving forward in your world. There's a way that you can attract them and build a membership out for them where they're paying something every month. When you take that advice, and then I took the advice that was given to me by Dre, which was to focus on high ticket. And this wasn't just me, it was multiple folks in the coaching program who would ask him, if you had it to do over, or what would your focus be, given that you've been in the content creation game for so many years. His answer was always focus on high ticket. Just focus on high ticket. And when I say focus on high ticket, I mean focus solely on the people that would be willing to invest well over 15, or let's say we'll put it at $25,000. 25, that's quarter thousand, $25,000. What can you offer that's worth at least $25,000? And focus on your high ticket clients, your high ticket offer. Put all your focus on those people and make it so you built up a business, you built up a brand, you built up an organization, you built up a concept, you built up everything in which is aligning with that group of people who would pay high ticket premium for your stuff. All right. So with that advice in mind and this new knowledge that I had with what exactly Patreon is, that's where I was able to come up with my own Patreon link, my own way of offering. And I'm going to show you guys in a second. I started my own offering, which is patreon.com/Aswan, where Aswan44, where I can make these offers, where I can, I'm going to show you guys how it works right here, where I can attract, right, and you see it, where I can attract the people that I want to serve. And you see how all of that moves in alignment. So the goal for next month is to attract more people into that membership. So it's an alignment. So again, you're focusing on high ticket in terms of the previous two goals, and then also the folks that want to build and become and really get to know you before they make that long investment or make that investment in you. Okay, you have something for them too as you're going out building. And that is how you properly set goals. That is how you properly set the goals in terms of what it is you want to be month to month and what it is you want to be all about. All right. So as we recap here, I know I said a lot, I know I did a lot, but it's a brand new series, and I had to personally make sure I explain all of this to you. I had to make sure I personally align all this and make sure I explain all this to you in a well thought out fashion, because this right here is how you maintain. This right here is how you maintain the organization that you want to build. This is how you maintain day in and day out, and you keep yourself in a place where you're targeting the right people, and your business you don't lose control of your business. You don't lose control of the vision. You don't lose control of exactly what it is you want to do and exactly who it is you want to serve and how you want to go about building your brand. And you don't get what it's called like the shiny object syndrome. You don't become a victim of that, and you're able to stay focused on your principles. That's very important. All right. So all that being said, if you are listening, be sure to tap in with me on the Patreon link. It's patreon.com/Aswan44. Everyone else, also the main website to check out to dive deeper into everything I'm doing. It's makeyamove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. It's a one-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswan Cruikshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.